So how was Sonic?
We didn't listen. We didn't see.
How many weeks now?
You agreed with me. You didn't want us.
I was bummed.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. This is the second time.
Don't even.
You could have got free sushi.
Don't
All
even
you had to do
lie.
was go.
Don't even. Hey.
If you like this content, please subscribe.
You can leave a comment.
Like it.
We're also on Anchor.
We're on Anchor. Both of our podcasts are on Anchor. So if you're on the go and you want to listen instead of having to watch YouTube, you can find us there.
It also works on Spotify as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's coffee break.
Oh, yay! A little late because of Easter and wanting to sleep in.
You know what? That's a weird little thing that I'm learning about this podcast is if there's a holiday on that Sunday, there's a most likely good chance we're not recording.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't celebrate Easter.
God, no. Didn't do anything. Did literally nothing special.
Played Mario Kart online.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's intense.
Mm-hmm. A lot of fun, though.
Yeah, it started really good. It ended poorly.
Yeah, the best I got was third, and I cheesed it. They cheated. Like, I got, 3 invincibility stars in a row, and then at the end I got an invincibility star and, the infinity mushroom. And I was like, they handed this to me.
Dude, I was getting knocked back into 12th, getting every single mushroom you can get. Golden mushroom with another golden mushroom. You know what I placed? 10th.
It was the thing for me was I'd be near the front for a good chunk of it.
I'd usually start in the front.
And then, right at the end, every single person just impales me 900 times.
Yeah.
And then they all pass me. And
it's like when you're spinning out of control and someone hits you and then all of a sudden it feels like you're spinning a different way.
And then as soon as your card starts to go, a shell comes in. Or the blue shell knocks into you to get past you to get up to the front. It's I'm not even.
Are you taking off on a jump and lightning strikes and well, that was the end of that.
Or you're I just got a bullet bill, and then the lightning strikes and kills your bullet bill.
Yep.
Fun stuff.
That was fun. There was not much this week.
No.
As for video games, it's just Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's all anyone is talking about. And
I made a little comment about Elden Ring.
I did. It's just swords. It's just a thing with a hand to hold a sword. And I realized they just give more things, just more hands, so they can hold more swords. And then there's that whole section of the game where it's just hands. Just straight up, giant hands crawling around on their hands. It's this is a game about hands and swords.
So you know that thing, the 2 fingers?
Yeah?
It's a giant hand that only has 2 fingers if you haven't played.
Is it real or is it a statue?
It's real. It moves. And they talk to it and tells them what to do.
No, I hate all of that.
Do you remember when I was in the room and I just turned the camera? And
I do.
What the fuck is that?
Because I was I was on my phone or listening to something, and so I wasn't talking to you, but I saw it happen, and then I very quietly whispered. You couldn't hear me because you had your own headphones in. You were listening to a podcast, but I very quietly to myself and to you went, "Don't do it." As you turned to them, I was like, "Don't do it."
I remember I went through this spot where you go underneath the ground, and you pop back up on the ground level, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just exploring this area, and in the side of a mountain was just a skull, this gigantic skull.
Yeah.
And I'm just staring at it what?
Well, now I'm suspicious. Why? I'm wondering how many fucking skulls you've just walked across in regular and just didn't notice because you needed to see it from a specific angle.
Fingers and faces all over that game.
It's
Which remind me of a cool little scene in a trailer that we just watched.
Which one?
I'm talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. Finally came out.
We literally were talking about this morning to each other.
We talked about it in the last podcast, how it's weird they haven't released a trailer.
I was dead sure they weren't going to release it till Doctor Strange came out.
Which would have been pushing it. Mm-hmm. Because Love and Thunder comes out relatively really soon after Strange.
I assumed it was because after the No Way Home trailers came out, and the internet was like, is the other Spider-Man gonna be in this one? And then they just ran over and harassed all the actors and be like, are you gonna be in Spider-Man? Can you tell me, are you gonna be in Spider-Man? And they're like, I can't say anything because I have NDA agreements. Like, but are you gonna be in Spider-Man? And then they just did that for several months. Just bothering these poor actors. And then the movie came out and they're like, I was right, guys. And it's like, yeah, thanks.
Well, Tell you the truth, Spider-Man is not in this movie. This one looks fun. It looks like he has a lot of fun with the Guardians.
It's Taika Waititi, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, especially after...
Why do you think he's hanging out with Gorg?
Well, he does it just because he's...
Korg?
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 Korg. Just because Taika voices
Fucking
Korg.
Blackbeard, okay?
Well, after our flagmate's death, I'm especially curious to see how this one's gonna go. Because, like, Taika Waititi, he's stretching his creativity muscles now.
Yeah, we saw Zeus. They go to Olympus, which means we're opening up the door to gods.
Yep.
Which is also pretty cool because Moon Knight...
Oh yeah, more like as an Egyptian god.
Are Egyptian gods. And people keep theorizing that, Baal? No, Balk. Bask?
Bask, the giant panther from Black Panther.
Black Panther's god.
Yeah.
Are all connected, because in the comics they are. So if we're going for this god thing, it makes me wonder, are we going to bring in Galactus?
Is Galactus considered a god?
No. He's a planet eater.
Oh.
You know what? I might have that wrong. It might be... Well, then, we already brought in Kang.
Is Kang considered a god?
A version of him. Well, versions of him. Like, the king we met was a good guy. Okay, anyways, Love Thunder.
Yeah. It's complicated. Welcome to Marvel.
Looks really good. Oh my god, I just remembered something. It was either Loki's gonna be in this one, or he's in the multiverse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bet he'll be in Multiverse. That's just because he's dealing with the TDA in his show.
That'd be funny at the end. He's like, Strange, you gotta go. No, this looks really fun. I forgot how powerful the, what is the axe called?
Stormbringer.
Stormbringer.
It's so cool.
When he's using it to open the Bifrost.
I'm willing to bet the Guardians are going to be in this movie for about 10 minutes. I don't think they're going to be in it for very long.
I loved that he stood up on the rock, took off his shirt, and is just wearing an orange leather jacket. And did you see he threw his coat behind him and it just lands on Star-Lord's head?
Nice. No, I bet the Guardians are going to be fun, but I bet they're going to be barely in. It's going to be like an introduction thing at most. And then they're going to dump them off at Olympus because it'll be like, alright, we're done. Or bye.
No, they dumped him off. You can see it in the trailers, I noticed this. They dumped him off at the planet that he was in the third one. I don't remember the name of it. The scavenger planet?
The one with, what? God damn. What's his name?
Malcolm.
Yeah.
From Jurassic Park.
Sure is. he's a
Jeff.
Jeff Goldblum. He's a good actor. I like Jeff Goldblum.
Man, okay. Way off topic, but Jeff Goldblum, yes, great actor. Mm-hmm. The Fly?
I never watched it.
His performance is almost avant-garde.
That's why I didn't want to watch it, because I figured it was going to creep me out.
He gets way too creepy about, you know how flies eat things?
Yeah.
And then they spit them back out so that the stomach acid can dissolve it for them?
Yeah, I've seen, like, bits of it. Screenshots, at least. Yeah, it's just,
But I remember as a kid watching Jurassic Park and loving it just for dinosaurs. And understanding the basic science that they're throwing, which is just a bullshit half-ass science.
But dinosaurs!
And dino DNA.
Dino DNA.
And when they're sitting down at dinner after that whole thing, Dr. Malcolm is talking about the chaos theory.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And a lot of the things that he says in that movie is about... Do not introduce a species that is meant to be dead and extinct.
Yeah.
Because the outcome can become anything from nothing to
completely catastrophic.
World domination.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the sixth film is called Dominion.
Maybe you'll play back into that.
It's going to. Which he was also speaking in the fifth one, The Fallen Kingdom.
Briefly at the end there, yeah.
Though funny, called it Fallen Kingdom and then Dominion.
Yeah.
Love and Thunder looks fun. I'm glad to see it. We did not see Christian Bale, who's one of my favorite actors.
Oh, that's right. He's supposed to be the bad guy.
You saw that giant thing that was dead that they were staring at in that ice world?
Mm-hmm.
Nipplheim.
Is that Nibelheim?
Yeah, it's Nipplheim.
I know that is a perfect recreation of a panel from one of the comics for Thor.
Oh, they're just looking at it.
I saw that. I didn't realize the trailer was out, but I saw that comparison, and I was like, "That's neat. I wonder what movie this is from." Anyway.
Gore has many renditions. The ones that we've seen as toys are wrong. I talked about this last week. But it would be interesting if he thinks he's like some weird holy crusader.
Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay. Season 6 of Better Call Saul. I haven't seen Better Call Saul in years. The first 2 seasons were awesome. Yeah. And I am a big Breaking Bad fan. The sequel movie to Breaking Bad, El Camino, horrible.
Yeah?
Oh.
Damn.
I'm one of those guys who still believes Walter White is still alive.
I'm gonna admit, I'm a bit of a noob. I've watched none of them.
Do you understand the basics of it?
I do. I know, like, it was impossible to not know about Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Like, I know their names generally. Like, if I couldn't, like, say them off the top of my head, but if you said them, like, I know who Walter White is.
Then who's his psychic?
Jesse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesse Pinkman.
He's the, like, scrawny, skinny dude.
Yeah, Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
So both of those guys, Aaron Paul and
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
You gotta say it like that.
Confidence.
Bryan Cranston. Great actor.
Actually, a really funny actor.
He is. For
playing such a serious role.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to show up in season 6, which I think is the last season of Better Call Saul.
How long has Better Call Saul... Like, has it been a big hiatus between this and the 5th season?
They take a lot of time to make these seasons. Mm. The guy who plays Saul Goodman was... Oh my god. Bob Odenkirk. I'm losing all the names. But Bob Odenkirk, he was in Nobody. The one where he's house dad... But really, he, like, remember he gets on that bus?
Oh,
and he's just beating the shit out of the guys, and they kick him off the bus, and then he just gets back on the bus to fight again?
Yeah!
God, that was a good movie.
That was a good movie. That was fun, honestly. Weird, but great cast. Like, who was his brother in that one?
I forgot. We watched it only, like, 2 times.
It was really good. The dad was also a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. If you like John Wick, you probably saw that one.
Yeah, probably.
And you're probably excited for the train.
Oh yeah, I am excited.
Is it the train or the bullet train?
I don't remember.
But yeah, Brad Pitt now.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'm excited to see the whole team re-team up. Maybe it's a flashback scene that they're gonna change a little bit, or he's just now meeting them.
Maybe.
He does do a thing where at the end of Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman tells them you have an option to leave. But it's like you have to bring all this money.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to this undisclosed location. You just bring your clothes. You bring barely anything. And you have to leave your whole life behind. Everything.
Yeah. So...
They don't take it. But Saul does. And at the beginning of Better Call Saul, you'll see in black and white... He's working at like a Cold Stone or Baskin Robbins.
Mm.
And he's like closing up shop and he's just thinking about his past and then starts telling you the prequel.
That's cool. That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So you know he's still alive. He made it. So I am excited for that. The Batman is now on HBO Max. I just wanted to announce that to everyone as of today.
Yay!
It has happened.
Our plans is to do this and then watch Batman. You said at least once.
That's not what I said. I don't have to work tomorrow.
You're just gonna watch it on repeat.
Well, I'm gonna watch it on my phone while I play Elden Ring.
It's gonna be like on Christmas when like Hallmark Channel or whatever just plays A Christmas Story on repeat the whole day. It's gonna be you with the Batman.
And?
I think you're gonna get tired of hearing Motley Crue after a while. Is that the ones who did that song in the beginning? Is it Motley Crue?
It's Nirvana.
Whatever. They're both bad bands.
Whoa. I'm not a fan of Nirvana, but they have made some really good stuff, and some great people have come out of that band. Naming two, because this is a 3-man band and the other one's gone.
No.
But Dave Grohl, who we mentioned before. Mm-hmm. And then I forgot the name of the bassist, but he used to play for Nickelback.
But Nirvana's bad.
Nirvana's just a weird time capsule.
I don't know. Not for me. Not everything is for everybody. Like, even my favorite bands of all time have things that I don't like.
Mötley Crüe sucks. Most because they're just losers.
Controversial take of the Batman. I don't know or like the bands.
It is a weird choice to put Nirvana in there. Not even one of their more well-known songs.
The lyrics make sense.
Yes, and it sets a tone, but it's also like... Nirvana's 90s, guys.
Well, when does this movie take place? What year is it supposed to be?
It's an alternate universe.
So it could be anything?
You really think that there's a Gotham out there? It's a nickname for a ghetto in New York.
My favorite version of a movie that did this, sort of like a nebulous time where anything and nothing is possible, was actually the Series of Unfortunate Events movie with Jim Carrey, where they would have things like super high-tech, wacko, like stuff that could track you down, but then also like rowboats and shit. And like all was common and nothing was common. And I liked that interpretation of doing that.
Where's this high-end tech that you're talking about?
In what? Series of Unfortunate Events?
Yeah.
It's been places like Olaf used it at one point in time. It was in the books too. I don't remember it's been a long time since I've seen the movie.
That movie was trash.
I liked it. I actually liked it a lot.
You know what? I got a little story here about how bad that movie was.
Before you go on this, can we just admit the music was really good? The soundtrack?
For what?
Series of Unfortunate Events?
We're not talking about the soundtrack to Series of Unfortunate Events. And it's also been so long. I was in grade school when that came out.
That can't be right.
Yeah?
Nah.
Yeah?
Nah. No, wait. No, wait. Yeah, that might be right. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been that long? Wow.
So I remember I'm waiting for my parents to pick me and my friend up. We're sitting in the theater just waiting. Because you don't want to go outside. It's too hot here. Mm-hmm. Right? And this really cute girl sits next to me. And she starts talking to me. Because she wants to, flirt and be whatever she wants to be, right?
Sure, whatever it is, like
what
grade
kids do.
School kids do, yeah, when they like people but don't know what to do.
And I thought she was really cute too, but I had just read the first book in a night, which is unheard of with me because I hate reading, and read the second and third one, loved Uncle Monty, thought
yes.
Aunt Josephine was insane, but also like it's kind of a cautionary tale.
Insane. First of all, I don't remember the actor's name, and that's a shame because he's fucking phenomenal. But who they got to be Monty in that movie? 1,000,000 out of 10. He's also the father from Boondock Saints. Do you remember that?
Yeah, oh, is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
I thought it was Doc Ock.
Nope. Understandable, I would say. And then they got Meryl Streep to be Aunt Josephine, which I think is her best performance, honestly.
What?
Yeah, Meryl Streep was Aunt Josephine. You don't remember that?
See, this is how long this movie was. Long ago. Anyways, they changed up things. They ripped stuff out because they took 3 books and shoved them together.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And this girl's trying to flirt with me, and all I can say is this movie sucked. So
a little heartbreaker.
So imagine a 4th grade me, who's what? You're like 10? No,
yeah.
9.
Depending on which year you were born, 10 to 9.
Goblet of Fire came out that year.
Wow.
Speaking of Robert Pattinson.
It's the one guy who died.
Did you guys know why he holds his wand so stupid?
Because he studied people holding guns.
And he thought that was cool, so he looks down the the shaft of his wand like it's a rifle.
I liked it because it gave him a name, like a weird. I wish more people had held their wands creatively. Like everyone makes fun of Voldemort's like scared pencil maneuver he does with his wand, but I wish more people had creative wands and/or creative wand holding techniques.
I think him and Voldemort have the weirdest ones, and that holding his wand like that.
It's neat. He also has a weirdly short wand too.
Whatever. That movie sucked. I'm glad Netflix redid it. Way to waste Robbie Amell, anyways.
I know. Oh my god, that was such a shame. Robbie was fantastic as the guy who was ambidextrous too.
He's actually a really good actor. I just don't know why he would do something that.
Well, he plays a big role in the books, but in the show they after the freaks leave. That's what they're called. That's not me calling them names. After the freaks leave the circus, in the show for some reason the villains just dump them in the middle of the woods and then we never see them again. And they were supposed to stick around until the very end. So, whatever. I'm salty. I liked the freaks. They were the funnest characters.
You ready to start the shit show?
Mm-hmm.
Moon Knight episode 3.
Oof. Woof.
Do you want to start? Or is it going to be me?
You know what? I'll start. Because
okay.
I thought it was, of the 3 episodes we've seen so far, this one might have been my favorite.
And the worst.
And, well, I liked the spectacle of it. But that's because nearly nothing writing-wise actually happened. It's so sloppy and mismanaged, and the CG is so distractingly bad. And I'm willing to forgive bad CG. I watched CW's The Flash. But this is just, this CG is just, confusingly bad.
Here's a lot of beef that I have with it. Steven?
Mm-hmm.
And Khonshu. What the... Who wrote this, reread it, and thought that this was okay? I will never call the gods. Wait, I can do something. Disappears.
Yeah.
Blots out the sun.
Yeah.
God's angry. Don't ever do that again.
And before he goes into council, Khonshu's like, yo, man, be cool. We don't want to piss them off. This is really serious.
This has to go off.
And then the moment he steps in, Khonshu pops up and is like, fuck yo.
And just tries to strike him.
Keep my motherfucking wife's name out your fucking mouth.
And then, at the end, even though hearing, if he does this one more time, he's got to get taken away.
Mm-hmm.
He shows Steven how to change the sky back 1,000 years.
Yeah, so they can finish their map of bullshittery.
Now, Steven, there's a scene where Mark is trying to read...
like a star map?
He's trying to build the star map that Steven builds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's asking Steven for help, and Steven's like, no, I don't want to help you. We don't want to do this. Let's go home. And then all this happens. Steven takes over at some point?
Yeah.
During this fight.
For no reason.
Gets impaled like crazy. Let's Mark take over.
Yeah, and I was like, why did Steven take over? Why'd they let him take over in this moment?
Old boyfriend riding up with his spear. I mean, you've already speared this guy to the ground.
Also, yeah, he gets...
What is your plan here?
He gets impaled.
Multiple times.
There's 4 spears sticking through him. You can see it. No blood whatsoever, which, whatever, it's Marvel and they're trying to market to everybody. But then he does a video game spin maneuver, and suddenly all the spears are not in him anymore, and we don't even see a healing moment. It's just, and suddenly there's nothing there.
Now I'm willing to forgive that because they point out, or at least
Khonshu mentions quickly
that it's a healing suit.
Yeah, whatever.
But then they run off in the desert. He has to build the star map. His girl's like, hey, get Steven. We need him to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Rips the mirror off his fucking Jeep.
Very,
walks away from the light.
Aggressive, big, abusive boyfriend vibes. Because he was, like, slamming screams and being mad, and she's like, we just need to put this map together. And he's like, oh, and then he, like, rips the fucking, like, window off, and it's like, dude.
Looks in the mirror and goes, Steven, I need you, buddy. And Steven pops up, right? And just builds the fucking thing.
Weirdly, like, you know, weird, like, the weird, stupid cinematography. Like, because he rips the window off the Jeep, and then he walks over with his, like, fistful of pieces of the map, and he walks, like, it's the middle of the night, and he walks from the head, like, the beams, the headlights, he walks away towards the camera, and then he does it, and then he does his transition in the camera, but then he just, like, squats down and puts the map together, but he's in complete shadow, because he walked away from his light source, and his body is in front of the light source that he could have.
Which silhouettes him.
And it's just like, is this supposed to be a poignant shot? This is nothing. This is stupid. Why are we doing this?
So, we already know where we're gonna go with this show. Fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
I never thought I would see a Moon Knight in my life. I've said this before.
I suspect
I never expected I'd see this bad of a Moon Knight.
It is sad that it's this bad. And people are being so forgiving of it. And you want to know why?
Because they can't get off Disney.
As a part of it, but it's because lonely, thirsty girls are fucking in love with Steven. Specifically Steven, not Mark or Khonshu. They like Steven. Like, he's sad and he needs helping and I can be there for him. I'm like, bitch, you're like a 40-year-old Disney girl. Like, no, he's not real. That doesn't make it a good story because you think Oscar Isaac is hot. Yeah, he's hot. That doesn't make it good. He's doing his damn best too, but the story is bad.
I've only seen Oscar Isaac do one really good role.
Which one?
Leto?
Finn?
No, Leto. Dune?
Oh, that was him, huh? You didn't like Finn?
I didn't like what they did to Finn and Poe.
Yeah.
Because it was obviously a gay story.
That's a whole... Yes. That's we could have a whole podcast just dedicated to the Star Wars...
sequel trilogy and how bad they fucked that up.
You know what? Maybe we'll do that someday. We're getting off topic.
Well, May 4th is coming around.
Oh, true. No. This story really shouldn't have been... And we need you to save the world. Because the story should have been an inner conflict of Steven and Mark and Khonshu. And, like, bodily autonomy and dissociative identity disorder. And, like, gaining confidence. And, like, Mark needs to learn to, like, hold himself back. And Steven needs to learn to confidence and to put himself forward. But instead, it's like, here's this girl subplot, and you need to stop this cult leader guy from taking over the world. And it's so overdone and contrived and does nothing to support this character in any way. I could see this done very well with anyone else's hands, you know?
I'm fine with keeping it with people from Egypt, like the show creator, not creator, but the show runner, and he directed a few of the episodes, is actually from Egypt.
Is it the writer?
Some of the writers are.
I don't know. The writing seems mismanaged.
Yeah.
Clearly.
The music is.
I like the music.
No, I'm not trashing the music. I'm saying, like, that is...
you could tell, like,
Egyptian music.
Like when the credits are rolling and it's like they're speaking like a different language. It's like, yes, cool.
So yeah, he's gonna have to figure out how to get Khonshu out of the stone, and we have to do that in 3 episodes because we have to have a finale.
Yes.
So he's gonna either do it by the end of the 4th episode or by the middle of the 5th episode.
Yeah. And
build it up, and then
he'll have a big old apology thing.
Another thing we have to deal with is there's this talk of a third personality, which is a true thing with this character. Mm-hmm. So when they finally reveal, what's his name, Jack?
I don't know if they'll keep it that way. Maybe it's Jack.
But yeah, he's supposed to be like a brawler, and that's why so many people are dying.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so mismanaged. It's such a shame, too. Because there are parts that are fun, that are neat, that are interesting, but it's all the parts that have absolutely nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah.
Get Ethan fucking Hawke out of the goddamn frame. This villain is in constantly. It's like, here we are, we're getting our fucking bananas, and here comes Ethan Hawke running up being like, I'm in this show too! Remember me? It's like, go away.
I feel like his inspiration was the villain from The Crow.
You know what? That is so shockingly accurate.
You guys haven't seen The Crow. This guy...
The, like, weird vampire...
He looks like a vampire, but he's not, and he's got this really deep voice.
He does.
Like, even when he's just talking, it sounds like... It's just really deep and guttural.
It's a shame, because he's also, like, the most boring villain of The Crow. The rest of them are way more fun.
They're more interesting.
Fire it up! Fire it up!
Next thing. Another Blair Witch Project remake is in the works. We brought this up because, well, you say here you don't even like the first one.
It was never good. It was unique. It was unique because it was done different. And that's always cool with horror, especially. But now it's been done to hell and back, and once you do it to hell and back and you go back and you look at it, you realize the story's not good. It was filmed uniquely. There's no story aspect that I would want rebooted or remastered or anything.
So the cool thing about the Blair Witch Project, the original one, back from, I think, the 90s.
Was it the 90s?
Could be the O's.
I think it was the O's. I think it was like 2000. 2001, maybe.
Anyways, it's the first major found footage film to ever make waves like that.
Yeah.
Right? And their marketing campaign for it was to make it like it was a real documentary and what happened to these people.
Yeah, people thought this was real. People freaked the fuck out.
So people went to go see it. And it does have its creepy moments. The effigies, which is its icon, are pretty creepy. And then you hear about the lore of this witch and all this. And the ending's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
It's a lot of camera up my nose shots throughout this whole thing.
They did a sequel, which went straight to DVD.
Yep. The best thing to come out of Blair Witch, in my opinion, is the Paranormal Activity films.
So, yeah, which spins off to Paranormal Activity, which is crazy, because did you know the first Paranormal Activity, right, is the highest grossing film compared to budget.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, because it cost like $12 and a couple of Chuck E. Cheese tokens to actually like budget, because it was just regular like security cameras and a regular house, and you just pay your actors, I guess, and they film for like what 5 days.
So it's like $10,000 or something like that to film it, and it grossed like 24 million.
Yeah, which they're like, we did it!
when you look at 10,000 versus 24 million, you go, wow, that is worth it. Like, if you knew you could spend $10,000 to make 24 million, wouldn't you take it?
100%.
Your return is ridiculous.
It's just a neat movie as well.
Yeah. And they're still making Paranormal Activities.
I thought that last one was their last one. The one that came out like couple years back.
I think one came out in 2020, and then they're doing another one this year.
Well, okay. With Paranormal Activity, it's different because we don't follow the same characters. Not even necessarily the same.
That's not true at all.
Demons, really? I haven't seen them all. I'll be honest.
I haven't seen the newer ones, but basically the girl from the first one is the one who keeps coming back because she's possessed.
Oh.
And so at the end of all of them, she shows up.
That makes sense. But no, with Blair Witch, I don't care. I don't want it.
Yeah, it's time to reinvent the wheel. There is a live-action Minecraft movie being made or currently in production.
Is it live action?
Yes.
It's live action?
By Warner Brothers.
How can it be Minecraft and live action? I thought it was animated.
No.
It's... How? How?
And they got Jason Momoa to do it, so...
Supposedly. I don't know if it's like a done deal yet, but everyone's talking about it. I imagine... Does he have kids?
Yeah, he's got kids.
Okay, so I understand. Especially when actors start having kids, they start doing roles that are goofy and fun so their kids can watch them. It's a little hard to be like, hey, kiddos, watch this movie where I chop this guy's head off.
It's all fake. Also, apparently Jason Momoa is going to be in Fast and Furious 10.
Get him busy. He deserves it. He's done great. He's always been great. And people make fun of him for this role, but I think he was even good as
Aquaman?
No, what's the Game of Thrones one?
Khal Drogo?
Yeah, Khal Drogo.
Drogo.
Yeah, Drogo was great. He was fun. His 3 lines of dialogue, fantastic stuff. It's fun because he does a lot of physical and face acting because he can't fucking talk.
You know what's interesting about this podcast, and maybe you guys are going to pick up on this, but we are talking about certain things that lead into another franchise, but then we'll talk about something completely different that leads back into that other franchise. Because we just talked about Elden Ring.
Maybe we're next level intellectuals, and
we're stuck in a fucking hole.
Or we're stupid.
That's true. The way you spell.
Listen, I just type bad. I can spell fine if I'm working on spelling.
That's not Minecraft. That's Minecraft.
Oh, did I miss the E?
You misspelled almost everything.
Whoopsie poopsie. I spelled Jason Momoa right after you helped me.
Yeah. Batman on HBO, the Max.
Oh, I did that one on purpose.
CISO 6 of Better Call Saul.
Well, I just missed the N in season. N's a weird one. I got bad hands. You gonna make fun of me because I got bad hands?
Tweetin? There's an apostrophe, not an I.
See, that one, it's after that, where it's INT space HE, where that's supposed to be in the, and I do this constantly where I just do int he.
Oh my god. Okay.
Anyway, thanks, Jason Momoa. I'm sure you're going to be a delight no matter what these movies. I just hope it's not an emoji movie type situation. Where
the emoji movie is actually really good, and you learn life lessons about it.
I thought about it 3 days ago, and I recoiled because I remembered just how much I hated it. Specifically, what's his name? Jim Gaffigan, who played the hand.
Oh, isn't that he's the Australian.
Carpools, karaoke and carpool karaoke or whatever the fuck. Is that guy?
No, I thought it was Jim.
Jim Gaffigan?
It's not Jim Gaffigan.
Oh, the other one. I don't remember.
He's a stand-up comedian also.
No, I don't remember his name. No, terrible movie. I don't want it to be they got Patrick Stewart and he played the shit. Isn't it great? A living shit. And that's Patrick Stewart. This is gonna be Jason Momoa with this Minecraft movie.
I hope he knows how to use that stupid sword. Next up, Amber Heard's friend was texting and tweeting
in the courtroom to help her lawyers, which is very dumb and very much not allowed.
No. Very much not allowed.
Very much not allowed. Yeah. Isn't that mega illegal or some shit?
The way you're writing, yes.
I miss 1 or 2 letters. It's fine.
So what's happening is we're still seeing Johnny Depp and his ex-wife, Amber Heard, battle out a defamatory...
Defamation.
Defamation.
She made an article and she was like, Johnny Depp is a bad man. He hurts people and he is the reason women are not respected or some shit like that. And so he's suing her for defamation of character because they already did their things and she already got bunches of money and shit, and now a bunch of stuff is coming out apparently bitch is always a bad person.
Didn't she cut his finger off or something?
She sliced his finger with a wine bottle during a fight.
And that's why you get boxed wine, Johnny.
Yes. And their doctor went on testimony, actually. I found out this today. The doctor went on testimony for this trial. Their personal doctor, who had been seeing them both for years. And he went on testimony, and he said Amber had never said anything about being abused. She had never showed any signs of abuse or anything like that. But Johnny had gotten hurt And in that moment, they were like, did Amber seem hurt in that moment? And he's like, no, not at all. So, she's a lying.
So she has a friend who's like part of some journalism, and her friend's sitting in the front row of the court, and she's just sitting there on her phone trying to tell Amber's defenders, her lawyers who are defending her.
Yeah.
Right? All these reasons why Johnny's a piece of shit. And finally, Johnny's lawyers were like, okay, look, can we all just turn around and see that she's doing this shit right here live?
That you can't do that. That's not allowed.
The judge was just like, okay, here's how this works. In simple breakdown, I'm not a lawyer, obviously. Mm-hmm. I never could be, never want to be.
God, no.
But a homicide detective? God, that'd be fun. Anyways. You can't talk or help or defend or aggress on anyone.
Mm-hmm. You can't speak
unless you're one of their lawyers.
Yeah, unless you can't.
You have to be an attorney, otherwise you can't do shit.
Yeah, you can't speak unless you are on the witness stand. Like, I don't even think you're not even allowed to speak in the audience or whatever. You can't clap or shit like that, applaud or whatever, things like that.
Yep. Can't cheer.
It's a very like tight run ship. So yeah, for this dumb bitch to be like, I'm just gonna text them all the answers. It'll be just like high school, man.
Yeah, and the judge said no, and so she's been permanently thrown out, which is not helping Amber's case, because now it seems like her and her friends are just psycho Hollywood bitches.
You know what they are? Well, you know what's also not helping Amber's case? Her fucking demeanor.
Her acting career?
During the entire thing, she's just in there, she looks bored. And she's just like, she keeps looking around the room. Like, her eyes just go and travel and travel and travel and travel and travel. Like, she's not looking at anything. She's not listening to whoever is speaking. Bro. Yeah. And then she turned around and she was like all smiley and happy and chipper to like one of her friends. And then she went back to her like dead-faced looking around the room. And it's like, bitch, no.
You remember what I just said? People are probably noticing this. Mm-hmm. How we're talking about one thing that spawns to another thing. Yeah. We just talked about Jason Momoa.
Is Jason Momoa next or something?
No.
Oh yeah, she's
Aquaman.
In. Oh yeah, that was her.
She's Mira. Mira?
Animated Mira from that
Oh my god.
So good.
So lovable.
Fuck it. That TV, that's like 3 episodes special of like animated Aquaman. That was inspiring. That changed my world on how like design and animation should go. I loved it.
It was funny, and I love when the bird takes a shit on his face, and he's finally just had it.
Well, speaking of lawyers, I actually saw this behind the scenes thing today. So with Spider-Man No Way Home, in the scene where like a brick gets thrown through the window and spoilers. Spoilers.
No.
I suppose. No. Matt Murdock catches it. Behind the scenes thing, it wasn't a brick, actually, in the original version. It was a snow globe. And then, because you can see it, like, in his hand. You can see it's, like circular shaped, and Tom's hand is also, like catching a ball shape, not grabbing a brick shaped. So they changed it from a snow globe to a brick sometime in production.
Why?
I don't know. Post-production. Maybe because bricks are harder. Maybe because someone would be like, snow globes aren't that dangerous. It doesn't feel that important.
Dude, I would have made it a Stark Tower snow globe. Just really drive that home.
Maybe it was supposed to be the contents of... Go. No. Fuck off. Shut up.
I'm dancing like a Muppet.
Oh, it's your face where you just smile at me.
There are layers to that one.
Yeah, maybe it was supposed to be inside the snow globe that was poignant. But I guess they changed it somewhere down the line and just had to, like, CG in a brick instead.
Okay. Fantastic Beasts and Where You Might Not Find Them.
Ooh.
The Secrets of Dumbledore. So in China, they got this don't say gay law.
Yeah.
Consistently throughout their monarchy, and their censors watched it, and they said, we don't like 6 seconds of this dialogue.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers was like, fine, we'll take it away, because they still want to put it into...
Yeah, still gotta market to them.
a lot of these big movies that are coming out of America, Hollywood, have to go to China, and that's where we're finding all this giant money and growth.
Yeah, China's where the
overseas.
moneymakers happen. Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't just America who was like, oh my god, there's all these Spider-Mans.
Whatever, yeah.
But it was also Chinese people watching it going like, wow, this is cool. And think about it, they outnumber us like 2-1, maybe 3-1.
So yeah, like 6 seconds.
You can get that much more money?
6 seconds got cut to fit their anti-LGBT representation.
I'm just curious what he said.
I'm more upset that all of these movies and the only thing we can get to the great big, scandalous Dumbledore and Grindelwald used to fuck. Wowie kazowie, wow. It's 6 seconds worth of dialogue.
Well, I don't even know if what you said is true. They could have just been in love. It doesn't mean there was a sexual interaction.
They've made it so obvious. I don't know. But, like, sexual or not, their romance was still...
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's called The Secrets of Dumbledore. That's one of his big secrets.
Yeah.
But also, like, if this is going to be the center stage aspect of this movie, because, heaven forbid, we know Newt isn't going to be allowed to play the main character anymore because of how much they've fucked up the storyline.
But also, Dumbledore is his last name.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not talking about Albus.
Oh, I don't think that's theory's true, honestly.
Well, I know it's true because I read the plot, but I'm not going to say it because the movie came out, but guys, go enjoy.
If you want to. I think it's going to be terrible.
I'll watch it when it hits HBO Max.
Yeah.
And wait a week, unlike the Batman.
Anyways, it's number 1 in the box office. It's getting 42.1 million, which is the worst opening for the franchise. So, might be number 1 in box office, but it's number shit in the Harry Potter universe.
So, I predict it'll be number 1 until...
Gotta flip the calendar. It has kittens on it.
It always has kittens.
Mine has dragons on it. We have different calendars. Because I wanted dragons.
For 2 weeks.
2 weeks? You think number 1 for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I think next week is going to be number 2. And then I think it's going to keep...
What's going to not... Okay, we're going to go to what's coming out next week.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's already out. That's number 2.
That's going to overtake it.
No.
Guarantee.
The Northman?
Northman might overtake it.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
What is this? I don't know what this is. But don't just stare at me. This is an audio format.
I'm sorry. We've had this conversation so many times. What is the unbearable weight of...
I don't remember. I'm sorry. What is it?
The Nicolas Cage movie with Pedro Pascal?
Oh, that's what it's called? I keep forgetting.
Oh my god. We see a trailer twice a day.
I never pay attention to the name of it. I just know it as the Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal movie.
Yeah. Basically, Nick Cage plays himself fictitiously, and he's invited to some party with a rich drug lord who's Pedro Pascal.
And it looks so cute and charming and fun.
And Pedro Pascal's character loves Nicolas Cage. He has a whole museum dedicated to him.
Yeah.
And Nick is like, I think this is really cool. Then the CIA show up and they're like, Nick, we need you to help take down your friend.
I know what it is after this point.
I'm explaining it to them because this is an audio form podcast. Okay?
It looks...
I have one job. It may be stupid, but I'm gonna do it, goddammit.
Hell yeah. No, I just totally forgot that's what it was called.
I'm quoting Galaxy Quest if you guys didn't know.
Another great movie.
God, it's so good.
Best
Star Trek film ever.
Yes. Totally forgot that's what that whole movie was called. Might be.
But yeah, it's about a bromance.
Yeah.
But don't worry, that won't go out in China. The Northman, I've talked about it a few times.
Yep.
It's Roger Eggers' new film. He is known for directing his first debut. Redundant. The Witch.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Super good.
So deeply.
Very, very thought-provoking and creative.
The ending. I love how you can misinterpret everything.
Yeah, there's not one specific way to see the movie. That's cool.
And when I talk about avant-garde, The Witch is really close to it.
It toes the line. And it's like, there's enough there.
Then his sequel...
Oh, that goes all the way into the deep end.
is straight up just avant-garde, which is The Lighthouse, and we've talked about that as well.
Ugh.
And The Lighthouse, starring Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
And Willem Dafoe as
the Green Goblin. Are stuck in a lighthouse. And they also have a weird bromance. That's why that film never did good, because it never went to China.
I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about it. But no, I'm sure The Northman's going to be fantastic, you know. I don't know if it could live up to the other two, but I think it's going to be great in its own right.
I'm not going to go in going like, oh, yeah, your last two were amazing. This one has to be amazing. I'm going to go in going, what is this story? The same way I did with the other two.
Mm-hmm. I expect that as well. I expect a lot of, like 2-bit... review places to be like, it wasn't as good as The Witch. It's like, yeah, it's completely different from The Witch.
I don't think you'll ever get The Witch for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, very few times when you tell a story like that, does it ever hit that production level?
No.
Which, oh my god, that set, which is not actually a set, they're actually out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And... the lighting,
it's just
the vocabulary they use,
the tone, the music, the limited yet powerful music,
and the strong overturns of religion.
Yes,
this movie is filled with nothing but Christianic ideology,
and it's like in a horror way, and it's so smart and awesome, and I love it. It's so good.
I sat there through the whole movie just loving it, going, this is nuts, what's happening?
Like, it's
but deep down inside, I was like, he's got to come up.
Like
he's got to show up.
Like that thing you want to, like, shy away, but you also can't take your eyes off of it type of situation.
And he does.
As for what else comes out this week.
Is The Bad Guys. A Billie Eilish documentary.
It's not. They did use that song in the trailers, though. No, it's an animated movie. It looks neat.
Here's another hard take from me, okay? As we're getting into this podcast, I'm starting to get my energy back. I had a bad day, by the way. Let's talk about Billie Eilish.
Okay. The Bad Guys looks neat. Neat cast. I don't know the story. What about Billie Eilish?
Well, the cast to The Bad Guys, it's an animated film about, personified creatures?
Yeah, they're bad guys. I've seen the books. It's based off of a book series.
Okay.
It's like the big bad wolf.
Who's the main guy? Sam Rockwell.
A shark.
Mark Maron.
Spider. Awkwafina is the spider.
Awkwafina, yep.
I don't know what the rest of them are. And they have to become good guys.
So Sam Rockwell is known for doing really good indie stuff.
Yes.
If you watch a lot of Wes Anderson, you'll see him in there. Mm-hmm. He is the CEO of Hammer Tech from Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but his last name was Hammer.
Yeah.
Where there was that funny scene where War Machine picks up his arm and he pops out this little rocket and it says Hammer, and he shoots it and it's just a dud, and he goes, oh, that's just Hammer. Right? Jojo Rabbit, he's the leader of the Hitler Youth.
Yeah, and he's fantastic in that role.
Another Taika Waititi thing.
So yeah, he's fantastic.
So we just keep re-hitting these things.
Taika Waititi's all the rage nowadays because Our Flag Means Death was so good. Now he's doing Thor, and all his old movies were also good. And just like
What We Do in the Shadows.
So damn good. Anyway,
Mark Maron.
Yeah, is he the shark?
Yes.
He's the shark?
He's a stand-up comedian. He's an older one. When he was younger, he was coked out. Fucking insane. But
weird.
As he got older, he sobered up.
He is my favorite stand-up comedy special of all time.
He's one of the best. I will admit that when you talk about the greats, like, yeah, you got Eddie Murphy, George Carlin,
Richard Pryor. Yep.
Not Bill Cosby.
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. Mark Maron. God, there's so many good ones out there. John Mulaney is a new. I'm new in town. But Mark Maron he's got this anger, but he gives it off in this passive-aggressive way, which tells his comedy so much fucking more brilliantly.
And he's also a great actor.
A good actor, yeah.
He was in Glow, which was phenomenal. And
he is the director of them, Sam.
Yep.
He, what was that one indie film we watched? Where he's in that Texas town and he's a pawn shop owner?
I don't remember what it was called. It was like the Sword of something or whatever. Or like this lesbian couple finds a wackadoo sword and they think it's worth a lot of money and they go on this weird adventure with Mark Maron and some other guy. It was neat. Don't remember it. Weird pacing, neat stuff though.
You see, but we remember it.
Yeah.
And it's because you don't find weird little indie gems all that often.
No, they're hard to find.
I actually did enjoy the film. I just don't remember the name. Because it was like a one-time, like, you know when you watch something, it's kind of like you woke up from a nap, you're watching it, it's late at night, and you're like, what the fuck did I watch?
And you're like, was that real?
Like, I remember, for me, it took me a while to figure out, what the fuck did I watch? It was the story, and bear with me, you'll probably know the answer, about this single mother who just lost her husband. And she has this toddler child that she's trying to raise. And in their house, it starts getting haunted. And the kid keeps freaking out over things. And all of a sudden, her and the kid kind of turn against each other because they think they're both evil. And the kid is like shooting her with like Nerf darts, and she's just like done. She just wants to strangle him. Mm-hmm. So he runs away for his life. They go down in the basement, right? He's trying to get away from her. And then the Babadook shows up.
Okay, I was going to be like, is this the Babadook?
And I watched the Babadook for the first time, and I was just like, what am I watching? And I loved all of it. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I figured out what I did watch, and then I came back to rewatch it and realized the layers. It's an onion. Yeah. It's a fucking onion. It's so good. Yeah. The Babadook doesn't actually exist. It's the manifestation of the trauma of losing their own loved one. It's fucking brilliant.
Did you want to say something about Billie Eilish?
No, I just want to stop it there. Every time I talk about her and I just piss people off, and they just don't stop.
Yes, not everyone's music is for everybody. Like, I had my bad
if
take
you want to
about
call that music?
About Nirvana and what was the other one? Fucking Motley Crue. Like, we can all have bad takes when it comes to music.
It's okay. She's just a kid. And you know what? We did talk about Billie Eilish lately.
Did we?
Yeah, we did it in the last episode.
Oh, I couldn't remember.
Because I said, how much longer until she gets eaten up by this fucking machine?
You know what? You're right. I do remember that. I just thought
so you guys already know. We forgot. You know why?
Because her songs are so forgettable. Ooh.
No.
Let's be honest.
That wasn't me.
Let's be honest. After Bad Guy, like, she's had, like, minor blips, and there's, like, one catchy element, maybe, that goes viral on TikTok, but for the most part, it's just a lot of, like, blah.
I don't know if I talked about this last time when we were trashing her, mostly me, was when we saw her in SNL, and she had a fucking cast on her leg.
Oh, yeah, huh?
And then the coolest thing, she was playing Bad Guy, but of course, it was fucking dumb. She played, like, years ago on SNL.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
You can go back in their archives and find it.
Yeah, it was when the song first came out-ish, I think.
But the coolest thing is, like, she gets up on the wall, like she's walking up on the wall, and it really looks like she's walking up on the wall, but really what she's in is, think of, like, a cube. But it's Its side is open, not the top.
Yeah, it's pivoting, so the walls are moving down below her.
Yep.
But the camera is situated in a way where it looks like she's walking up the walls.
I'm willing to believe the camera was on like some sort of gyroscope.
Probably attached to whatever this turning mechanism was.
Yeah, so it would move with it, so it looks like she's naturally doing it.
It was one of the...
But not naturally doing it, because it might be a few clicks off.
One of the more neat visually performances from SNL.
It was unique visually.
Mm-hmm.
But Childish Gambino beat her out that
year.
year.
100%.
This
Childish Gambino is going to hold that record forever. Because his first song was like this happy, fun song, and everyone loved it.
Everyone Loves Saturdays or something like that.
Yeah, and then the second one...
I've heard it a few times.
And then the second one was This Is America, and it starts with that happy beat, and you can hear the audience being like jazzed and ready to party again, and then it drops, and everyone just goes, oh...
And the lights go down. He looks like he's in a laser vortex prism.
Yeah.
And he's dancing and singing.
It's that same outfit he wears in the music video, which is a great music video.
It is a really good one.
Yeah. No, look it up. I'm sure most of you have. If you haven't, look it up. It's a good SNL performance.
Yeah. So, number one in the box office, Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
42.1 million. Worse than the franchise. Everyone knew this was coming. Warner Brothers knew it was coming. I don't remember if we talked about Ezra Miller, about the Flash, and how they're freaking out over him because he's being a weirdo, which goes back to also Fantastic Beasts.
Yep.
There's just, this thing was obviously doomed to die.
Bad blood around the whole situation.
I don't think it's bad blood. I think it's just bad. Like, they were like, we need Harry Potter, so let's make Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And Amazon is about to do the same thing with Lord of the Rings, where it's like, we need this, let's do this.
Yeah.
And you know what? Lucasfilms did the same fucking thing with Star Wars Episode 7.
True. It's
when
true.
When Disney bought Lucas, right? They were like, okay, you got a few franchises that we want here. Star Wars, number one, obviously.
Make movie now. Yeah.
This is back in 2012 when they did this acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Next one, Indiana Jones.
Which, it's been working.
Yeah, and so many reincarnates, and eventually that thing will show up with Matt Malkinson playing Grindelwald.
It's the same thing with the Blair Witch. Just because it's a name people recognize doesn't mean you can just shit out a sequel or a prequel or some other extension to this universe and it's gonna be good. It won't.
The next one was The Dark Crystal.
Mm.
Right?
They dabbled with it. They had that...
Which... I don't care too much about The Dark Crystal. It's fucking weird.
It is.
Jim, get off your fucking THC, okay?
I thought it was cool. Neat.
No, I just blame that on weed. That's not a symptom of weed. That's LCD. No, that's a... Oh my god, what am I... Acid! Get off the acid, dude! Me too. I don't do it, trust me.
Yeah.
Labyrinth.
It was which they've been...
Don't touch it.
No.
Shut up. Leave it.
There's been murmurs about some sort of sequel, and it's like, don't. Just listen. You don't need to. We don't want it. Just don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Another beloved classic, Willow.
Yeah, which they're already working on that one.
You can't top that one.
You can't.
You fucking peck.
It's a good movie. Number 2 with the box office. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Yay!
Was it good?
We haven't watched it. Wait, listen, going to the theaters is such a hassle, you know? You gotta take the time, and then you can't leave in the middle because you're gonna miss something, and you can't pause, and popcorn's like $40 or some shit. It's just like, I'd rather just spend our time having fun, you know?
Yeah. Number 3 is Lost City.
Yeah.
Number 4, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I'm seeing outstanding reviews for. I'm not interested in actually going to the theaters for this one.
No. But
I will watch it.
I'm sure it's going to be neat.
I mean, when you got cool action sequences and magic like that.
A24 is enough to be a selling point for me, honestly. And number 5, Father Stew.
Now, I'm going to give this one an exception. And here's my exception. Last weekend was Easter. Mm-hmm. I was going to say Sunday. Like, duh. It was Easter Sunday.
And all the, let's go watch a holy movie, a Christian movie for...
Well, it's about a convict.
Yeah.
Who becomes a priest.
But it's starring Mark Wahlberg.
Who himself has kind of done.
He's a bit of an asshole, though. Did you... Oh, I was going to tell you this before, but I saved this for the podcast because I wanted to tell you on the podcast. Did you hear what he said about this movie? He said he felt compelled by God to make this movie. Like, God himself told him, make this movie, young Mark Wahlberg. Go for it.
You guys can't see my face. I'm actually really upset. For those of you who are religious, I'm sorry. But that is just too far.
It's dumb. It's just like, you can just say you wanted the money. Oh, what are the odds this movie came out just around Easter? Whoa, God told me to release it now.
Well, no, it would make sense because that's the story about a man finding God.
Yeah, whatever.
I forgot where Batman and Spider-Man No Way Home are, but they're still in the top 10 here.
Yeah, like Batman's like number 7 or something.
And then just above No Way Home is Uncharted. Mm-hmm. So I'm really curious where these movies are being played, because like I already have a copy of Spider-Man, and I just got my copy of Batman today. Yeah,
like I don't know, must be some sort of fucking. It's just better on the big screen. Okay, sure.
You know, I'm going to put that to the test.
Yeah?
Yeah. Watching the Batman.
Well, let's have fun with it.
Oh, I'm just going to have fun. AMC Western. Well, a new AMC Western. God, they're just doing it.
They're crushing it. They're coming up with so much stuff.
They're coming back to the way I remember them almost like a decade ago.
And it's sad because I remember like a year or two ago we were talking and we were like, AMC's dying, they need something. Like all their old things that was their moneymakers are all dead and gone.
Yeah, now like The Walking Dead is dead.
Oh, it's not even walking anymore. That fucker rotted a while ago.
Believe it or not, I've actually stayed up with this show for 12 years. I can't tell you too much because I was actually planning an episode for the finale. Yeah. Because it's been 12 years of my life that I've been keeping up with these characters and watching this show.
But now you gotta dive into their next one. Walking Dead. Now we're underwater.
So I got an email. I didn't even watch the trailer. I was like, I can't. Because I just looked at the poster and it looks like...
bad. It looks like a 2 budget. Like indie. Like Sharknado.
Don't badmouth Sharknado like that. Okay, you know what the greatest thing about Sharknado was?
When they jumped.
Sharknado 2. New York City is flooded, and he's on the top of a taxi cab in these flooded waters. Yeah. And his daughter, or some teenage girl, she goes, you can't do it, because he needs to jump onto another car to get to his location. And there's sharks in the water.
Of course.
And he goes, no. I'm jumping the shark, and fucking does it.
Boo.
No, that is just brilliance. That is just, we know how bad this is. Let's hype it.
Anyway, this
looks worse than this.
This new AMC thing we got going on. Let's focus on the good rather than zombies in a submarine tank, and there's also nukes, I think.
yes, that's pretty much the description. It's Fear the Walking Dead Deepwater, something like that. No, I've been talking about their new show, That Dirty Black Bag. I've been keeping up with it. I really enjoy it. It's violent.
That's why I'm not really enjoying it. Just too sad for me, which I totally understand. Like, it is good. I can register that. It's very good. It's just too much of a bummer, in my opinion. So I'm not keeping up to tabs with it. But I'm glad it's good for you.
Well, they did one before. I mentioned it before. Hell on Wheels. The first 2 seasons are dry. I enjoyed them. But it's not a Western like you think. And then the 3rd season, they got a new showrunner. who wanted to go into a gunslinging fair.
Yeah.
Right? And that picks up, and it just takes it to where you want it to be. And here they got their third one coming up, and it's called Dark Winds.
Yeah. I'm honestly excited for this one.
This I'm personally excited for.
Like, it's got a great cast already. I don't remember his name, but he's the sheriff from Reservation Dogs, which came out earlier this year.
Which Reservation Dogs? Bobby Lee.
Yeah, another Taika Waititi one.
Taika Waititi directing, or not directing, but
producing. Was it this year or last year that came out?
It was last year.
End of last year.
It's an FX.
Really good, smart, creative,
and it's about a little gang of Native American kids stuck on the res, trying to get enough money to leave.
Yes.
Because their lives are hell.
And antics and drama ensues, and it's super smart and really, really good.
It's got a lot of heart to it, and they're coming out with a second season, which will also have Mark Maron in it.
Hell yeah!
And the main sheriff from that will be showing up as one of the lead characters. I can't remember his name. The other new deputy he gets is some young kid, and he was one of Jacob's friends from Twilight.
Yeah.
Who's also Native American. It takes place in the 1970s. It's about two Navajo sheriffs who investigate two gruesome murders that takes them back to the dark places of their minds.
And they're wrestling with different thoughts and lore and traditions. And I'm suspecting we're gonna see skinwalkers.
From what I was seeing from the trailer, it was like, oh yeah, we're getting there. There was claw marks. Mm-hmm. There's like a burning effigy with a skull on it.
Hell yes. This comes out June.
There's also like armed robbers.
Yeah, this comes out like
June 12th this year.
Very soon, which is bananas to hear about it like just now. I am super excited. Another thing that's exciting about it, George R.R. Martin is working on it as a writer.
He's a producer.
Like, he's just...
Which would make sense for the Skinwalker element.
He's doing all kinds of stuff, except for actually finishing his book.
But to also help even that tide, which is more interesting to me, is Robert Redford, who's done a few westerns in his time. One of his most famous ones is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He played the Sundance Kid.
A very well-known western.
You don't know if they died. and to have that duality of this is what America's cinema was, and then to George R.R. Martin, who's like, this is what fantasy was.
This is monsters. Let me think of the exact lore of how this monster biology works.
You can find the trailers now. We have to wait till June, but I'm very excited.
I'm super excited. This is one I'm actually really looking forward to. Well done, AMC. You've done it. You came back from your dry spell of ass.
Well, back to New Mexico and the horrific set of Rust.
Yes.
We started covering this very early on when we started doing this.
I think this was from the beginning we were talking about this.
I did a lot of research, and eventually I was just like, in time we'll be told what happened. This
is potentially good news. We're going to get a new report for the New Mexico Safety Agency this week.
From OSHA.
Yeah, and perhaps...
If you don't know who OSHA is, it's O-S-H-A.
You've never worked in any job before if you don't know OSHA.
I've worked in many jobs where they fear OSHA, but they never use them.
The one job...
They're illegal.
Yes. The one job I had that was the most scared of OSHA was when I worked at Walmart.
Yes.
In that back room, and you see those towers and towers of pallets, and you're just like, it could fall on me, and I could die.
These guys, I actually like OSHA. Some of their mandates are really hard and aggressive.
But it's all in the sake of safety.
It's stupidly about safety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a pallet, a wooden pallet, a plastic pallet, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Right? It's an easy way to transport a lot of material.
Yes.
when you're done with that pallet, you empty out that pallet. A lot of people like to turn them up because you're not supposed to step on them either.
No.
You can fall through. I've done that. That's scary as
Like, it's not even a whole foot off the ground. It's maybe like 3-4 inches off the ground. But yeah, it's like a lot of wood splintering.
Or plastic.
Yeah.
The one I dealt with, it was just missing a hole of plastic. And when I stepped in, there was cardboard covering it, so I wasn't expecting it, so I just fell.
Oof.
And I was like, what the... Anyways, even if you're done with the pallet, you would, like, ideally pick it up to get it off the ground and put it on its side. No.
Can't
they don't
do
like that.
Bad. No good.
And actually, I follow that rule with them. Because even though I'm not trained and certified, I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, like, because if it's heavy, because if it falls over, like, ow, you're gonna, like, break a foot or something like that. You guys want to know a fun thing? If you're going through the grocery store and you want to look for health and safety code violations for fun, I suppose. If you see a pallet that is empty or almost empty, that is technically a health and safety code violation. Because technically, there's supposed to be something on each corner of the pallet, even if it's just another product that's not getting put up or a cone. So if they just have, like, you can see the pallet, but you can see one or more of the corners exposed, that is a health and safety code violation, technically.
It really is a safety concern.
It is.
So we got this big dog organization coming in, looking at this investigation. And later this week, the 21st, they're going to release what their statement is.
Yeah.
So right now, we don't have any other news about this.
It's been very quiet for a long time.
But all I'm saying is, in next week's episode, I'm going to tell you what that report says.
Yeah, so
and I'm very
tuned.
eager.
Yes.
Because I want to know why that ammunition was there and who the fuck thought that was okay.
Yeah, who brought it? Who
also,
who?
Why are we using prop guns that actually have firing pins?
Yeah, there's just a lot of bad with this whole situation. And this might help clear some murky understandings when it comes to it.
Yeah, it's still a sad thing, but I'm very interested. Back to happier things.
Woo!
Let's talk about the Florida man.
Florida man, infamous.
How many times have you guys learned about the Florida man and just went, what the fuck is going on over there?
In case you're, like, from out of the States and you don't know what we're talking about, Florida is a crappy place, and crazy people live there. So if you go to your phone or your news outlet of choice, and you type in Florida man, you're gonna get, or Florida woman, if you're feeling spicy, because they're both crazy, you will get wackadoo news articles about what these Floridians are up to. Like, one I saw earlier this week was Florida man, like, speeds on the shoulder for 200 miles to impress a girl.
Tells officer why.
Yeah.
I remember one, this is the classic one. Got mad at neighbors, Florida man throws baby alligators at them. I mean, this place is nuts.
Like, it's insane. Like, they just do things. Not even, and just Florida in general is crazy. Because, like, a while ago, they were having this issue about raining lizards. Because it was cold, there was like a freeze happening. Like, it was a sudden drop in temperature. And what was happening was the lizards were fine, but they would, like, go into, like, this rest state, so they would freeze, basically. And they were still alive and stuff, but they were just falling out of the trees. So, because they're frozen and they're not paying attention. So just watch for raining lizards.
So the iguana is not an indigenous species to Florida, but people let them free.
Because they're crazy.
And so these iguanas are mass breeding because it's a really good environment for them. Mm-hmm. Think about it. Swamps, boggy,
muggy,
rains a lot.
Yep.
You got trees where you can hide in.
Tons
bushes,
of vegetation, yeah. Lots of just things.
Marshes, rivers, swamps. Yeah, I mean, there's bugs galore.
They've thrived.
And a iguana is a reptile. Mm-hmm. And reptiles are cold-blooded, which means that they actually have to sit in the sun to warm up for the blood to flow well enough. Unlike humans, us in our mammalian states, are warm-blooded, so we don't actually need the sun that much. We do.
We do, but not as much as a lizard does.
We can still function without it. We just become suicidal, sadly.
No. Or pale, at least.
Okay. And if it gets too cold, these reptiles, they won't move. They'll go into this hibernation. Mm-hmm. And they, like, we live here in this desert, and in this desert, in the winter, you don't have to worry about snakes and lizards.
No, they bury themselves.
They hide for months.
Yeah.
But when it starts getting warmer, like it is now here in April...
Now they can pop out, sunbathe,
yep,
see
and
the
you're going
world.
to start seeing them. And I've lived here for a while. You've lived here for your life.
Yep.
And it's true. Like, once it gets warmer, you're going to start seeing a lot more of them.
But this Florida man, rather than doing something crazy and illegal...
No, it's still crazy, and it should be illegal.
It's not illegal, but it's more fun.
It's wrong.
He didn't get arrested.
He should have.
Florida man watches Spider-Man No Way Home 292 times in theaters, reaching a new world record for how many times they've watched a movie.
So what he did is from the moment No Way Home came out, New Way Home, yeah, me to fucking forget about it. He's watched it from December 15th or whatever to March 15th.
Yeah.
It was something like that, where he had 4 months to watch it, so he just kept rewatching it.
It was like over 170 hours of just Spider-Man goodness.
When I was reading this article, his biggest inspiration was his grandmother, who loved to show him the films, right? And after she passed in 2019, he decided to do something for her, where he was like, I will go watch Endgame 191 times.
Yeah, and he set the record.
And he won that.
Until shortly after, at some point in time, some other person broke it for watching this. It's this thing called Camelot, the first installment. It's like a French movie. I imagine it was a French person as well. They watched this 204 times, and they broke the record.
Camelot spelled with a K, and I think there's 2 M's in there.
There's like 2 A's or something, yeah.
And it was a show that they had, but it ended too shortly. So they created the first installment, or the first part.
Yeah.
And this is the end trilogy. So there's going to be a second and a third, and they're going to end off their show.
So if this person wants to beat the record again, maybe they can watch Camelot the second installment 293 times, because that's the current record, 292 times watching a movie.
So I talk about how much I love Batman. A lot.
Yes.
Right? It's well known. I've already brought it up multiple times. There's no fucking way I'm watching it almost 300 times. In my lifetime, maybe.
And what's the criteria? Like, can you not pee in the middle of the movie? Does that take away your runtime?
I think they're going off as ticket stubs.
I would say, if you want this, you would pick a short movie. Like, what's the shortest movie coming out? Like, it's got to be some children's movie, right? Because they're always, like, an hour long, hour 30.
The Billie Eilish documentary, The Bad Guys.
Yeah. Like, because I think if you want to break this record easily, because a long movie, like Batman, the Batman, where it's like 2.5 hours, that's going to be hard to do. But...
it's 2.5 hours?
Is it?
No, it's 3 hours.
Oh, God. Ugh.
It passes the 3-hour mark.
No. God. So yeah, I think a short movie would be the way to go with this.
Which honestly, I think we should watch tomorrow.
Honestly, yeah, it's like, I'm ready for bed. We're supposed to make tacos for dinner.
I don't know how I'm gonna make tacos and miss out on him beating up some thugs.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is ridiculous. 292 times? Tom Holland's not worth that.
But Toby and Andrew are.
Okay, so... I did talk a lot yesterday about No Way Home and how much I loved it. Mm-hmm. But every time I talk about how much I love it, I do actually exclude Tom.
Tom is definitely the worst part of the movie, without a doubt. He's boring.
All jokes aside, he sucks. He's the worst Spider-Man.
Like, he's not a great... he's never wowed me as an actor. Even, what was that one called? That, like, crazy, preacher horror thing that came out a couple years ago Robert Pattinson was in that as well. It also had Bucky, his actor.
The fuck are you talking about?
No, we watched it. It was like this weird, like, limited series horror thing about a preacher that was new in town or something like that. No.
Oh.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? Robert Pattinson was the preacher?
The Devil and I?
Yeah, the devil all the time. That's what it was called.
The Devil all the time.
Even in that one, Tom Holland was easily forgettable, and like everyone else outshone him throughout that whole movie, series rather. I think he needs to refine his acting a lot because it's just
he's actually really good in that one.
He is, but even then, like it's not amazing.
Rob was scarier than him.
Like it was hard to outshine all these other people who were doing super good, and Tom is just there doing good, but what is good compared to super good? You know, I think Tom has he needs to improve. He needs to do something new and crazy and different, or at least refine himself more, because Peter Parker is not doing it.
Yeah, and I get it. It's the end of a trilogy. He was a kid when he started. Now he's an adult. For the sequel trilogy, can we please up the ante?
Yeah, can we do... I don't
Also, his Peter is so lame.
He's so, whiny, boring, gawky. He only has two emotions. It's either nervous or happy nervous. Those are the only two emotions he has.
Oh, straight up pissed off.
Well, I guess.
Which all three of them have.
I guess, but even straight up pissed off doesn't look right.
My biggest gripe with it is that Toby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has gone up to fight his foes.
Yes.
Slaughtered them. Right? Made mistakes.
Yes.
Andrew Garfield went up against his foes. Slaughtered them.
Yes.
Made some really bad mistakes. Right? Despite how bad The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is, there are moments where it's like, damn, this would take an emotional toll. When they show up in No Way Home, you can tell it's been years. And this was a great directing point, is that we haven't seen these guys in years. Mm-hmm. And they've lived their lives. They never died. They always lived in our memory.
Yeah.
Pro memoria.
They're still there. Tom Holland, he helped kill Ebony Maw. He helped kill Ebony Maw. Tom Holland's got that death under his belt.
Oh, what fucking psycho loser alien.
No, I don't know. It's just, ugh.
But then, it seems to be a rite of passage for a Peter Parker or a Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen-esque character to have to deal with the suffering. It's that hero conundrum. Mm-hmm. You don't get Bruce Wayne without him losing his parents.
Yeah.
But you also don't get Thomas Wayne without him losing his son.
Exactly. And, like, everything is born from tragedy. Heroes are born from tragedy.
Yes.
Which makes sense, you know?
Even villains.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't help that I'm glad we did, but we skipped the death of Uncle Ben. And now this Tom Holland's his Uncle Ben is now his Aunt May. Which I'm glad we took like 3 movies to establish their relationship, so her death really hurt a whole lot. But
I wanted him to kill him.
I don't know.
I wanted to go that dark.
I don't know. I don't want to. We can't keep talking about Spider-Man. We're so close to the end of this.
So there's rumors now that there's a Game Boy Advance emulator coming for the Switch.
I've seen leaks and like theories or something about the list of games that's going to be on it, and I gave a shit about none of them except Pokemon Pinball, which was one it had such a fun like commercial for it when I was a kid, and I wanted to play it so bad because the commercial looked so cool, but I never found it anywhere, and now I will finally be able to.
Did we find?
Huh.
It's the first time in a while.
What?
Is it?
Is it Pokemon?
It's Pokemon News!
Time. Wow! It's been so long we don't even remember what it's called. Pokemon News or Pokemon Time?
Is it Pokemon Time?
I don't remember.
Wow, it's been so long.
It's barely even Pokemon
Do you
News.
remember the original trailers for Red and Blue?
No, I was too young.
You've never seen them?
I've seen them. I don't.
Where they get Pikachu on the bus
Oh, I have.
and
It's
they crush the bus full of Pokemon
that
and
is
you get a Game Boy.
a weird commercial. Memorable though. There was another one for I think the second game where there's like someone in an apartment and someone else in an apartment, and there's like telephone wires connecting their buildings, and the Pokemon are walking across the wires because it was like their trading function or whatever, and I thought that was really cute.
Because they had dial up.
No, this pinball one that we are supposedly gonna get. The commercial for it was people that looked like Pokemon, and it was during Gen 3, so it was like a lot of Hoenn Pokemon, and they were just there and happy, and they had Pokemon, and then it's like pinball, and I'm like, I want this. It looks bright and cool.
Wow. I don't know if there's any spin-off Pokemon game I really want.
The Rescue Team series, also great commercial for that one.
You know what? I take that back. Stadium 3, let's do it.
Hell yes.
The time is nigh.
Oh my god. I mean, we got Snap, which was a dream come true 20 years too late.
I couldn't believe they did that. I was like, really? We're going to skip over the other one? Okay. But I love Snap. The new Snap.
It's a lot of fun.
It's cool seeing them.
Full of so much stuff, which I did not expect nearly as in-depth of a game.
Drampy scares the shit out of me.
Drampy is fucking scary.
And to see it in Snap just only helped me confirm that I wasn't wrong. My intuition that this is not something that should be around is correct.
It's just this gigantic... It's in a misty-ass forest where you can't see anything, and then you just see this, like, kind of shape, and you look, and there's just... Because it's gigantic. It's a huge-ass fucking Pokemon, and there's this giant demon-ass dragon thing serpentining its way through the treetops that you can't see because it's so misty. And it's like... Holy crap, it's a horror movie.
It's just creepy. But, you know, back to video game news. Nothing really big is coming out. We already mentioned Elden Ring is still dominating.
Like, no one is going to attempt to fight with Elden Ring.
Which is cool. I wish that game was a little more complex.
I wish it had more of a story. And I'm sure it has in-depth lore and stuff, but, like, I don't know.
There's a lot of lore, but... I mean, I've only beaten 2 Elden Lords, and I've already almost run across the whole map.
Yeah, which, you know, that's part of... Some people love that, and that can be part of the fun. I don't know. Maybe a little bit more direction would be appreciated.
Yeah, this game mechanic of being like Breath of the Wild...
Mm-hmm. It's gotten tiresome real fast. I was tired of this by Skyrim, which was arguably the real beginning of this kind of
Which is arguably one of the worst fucking games ever made.
It is, honestly. Like, we give it a lot of praise, but let's be honest, nowadays, bad. Bad.
You know, when Breath of the Wild came out, I refused to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really was like, I'm not playing this.
And now, like, Legend Arceus does it too, and it's like, I'm just tired. I'm up for big, like, choice. Like, if you had a game where you could go whichever direction you wanted, and you could fight the gyms in any order you want, that would be cool. But yeah, I want gyms. I still want structure. Don't be like, here's a giant empty landscape. Yeah. Get to one end of the giant empty landscape, then run to the other end of the giant empty landscape and do a cutscene. Ooh, gameplay.
So the last one I'm going to bring up is Glover.
Yeah. Does anybody remember Glover from the N64?
I do.
I don't. I do because I got a request to draw a Glover fan art one time. And I was like, okay, my requests are open, I'll do it. And I was like, this is a dumb-looking game.
Okay.
I never played it.
You were a child at that time.
Yeah.
For me, I was just a young boy.
You're only 2 years older than me.
I'm not 2 years older than you.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years older, depending on what time of the year it is.
There's a huge difference. Because technology has advanced so far and rapidly that the things that you take for, like, granted...
Yeah, it's things like I watched Fairly Odd Parents, and you didn't.
I did, Just didn't care.
You just didn't
I was so old.
You were so old. It came out when we were like, I would have been like 7. You would have been like 9.
How do you feel about Johnny Bravo?
I love Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Maybe you couldn't do Johnny Bravo in this day and age, though.
No, you could
you
not.
really couldn't.
You really couldn't do Johnny.
Sorry, Johnny.
Which I still think Johnny's great. Glover's awesome. Do you remember Tonic?
Tonic, that sounds familiar.
No arms, no legs, but hands, feet, stupid, like, diamond-shaped body.
Yes.
And a head with no neck.
Yeah.
And then he would drink his tonic potions, and he would, like, either become super ripped or whatever.
The N64 was just, like, the Wild West of, like, what's our main character? I don't know. Something. Lizard. It's gonna be a lizard. Why? I don't know, because I said it, and now we can do something with a lizard.
Yeah, it was a crazy time.
Our main character is gonna be a dragon that's purple. Ours is gonna be an orange wombat. Well, we're doing a bear with a bird in his backpack.
It's just a bad game.
You shut up. But it just, like, anything was possible. And it barely made sense half the time.
Tonic, yeah, it never made sense to me.
A lot of them was just like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm collecting, like, notes, like musical notes and jigsaw pieces. Okay. Sure, why not?
I like listening to music when I put puzzles together with Grandma.
What happens in Gex? You're, like, collecting movies or something like that? Or
what game?
Gex? That was the one with the lizard.
Gex?
G-E-X.
Oh, I'm seeing him now.
Yeah.
He looks like Dexter, but a lizard.
I think I didn't play it. I think it was on the PlayStation. I didn't have a PlayStation.
You know what was a really cool game back in that day?
Wait.
Turok.
Turok was cool. It's the dinosaurs.
Well, it's also like you're a Native American warrior and you're going off to fight these futuristic dinosaurs.
Hell yeah.
And one of my favorite ones, I never beat it. I've never seen it available ever again since the N64, which means I would have to unearth that fucking thing. And I don't even know if the cartridge would work.
God, my sister's N64 was having trouble working. I don't know if she ever fixed it. It's gotten to the point where it's like, they're not even turning on anymore. No. God, no.
I know there's a battery inside each cartridge.
I think it's
that's how Pokemon was able to save to itself.
She said she thinks it's part of one of the wires that connects to the TV. She thinks that one got shot finally.
You can easily go pick up a new one.
You could, but she doesn't. But she doesn't know which one it was. Is the problem?
I remember in high school, the PS3 just came out. The 360 had already been out, and Nintendo just started dicking around with the Wii.
Yeah, attempting. Yeah.
Right. So this is what, Gen 6?
Is that? I don't know.
They have weird numbers where it's like, how can you say it's that when like the others don't really show up?
And you don't line up with any of your numbers.
And the original lineup was just Nintendo and Sony.
Yeah.
Anyways, my neighbor next door, he was like, God, what was it? It was like his grandson grew up too old. And he needed to get rid of a ton of his stuff. And he was like, hey, I was wondering if you would like this little 12-inch boom tube.
Ooh.
And a PS2.
Oh, nice.
Which, as a kid, I was actually denied the pleasures of video games.
Wow.
It was because I was actually a really horrible kid, and I grew up in a very strict household.
And you, yeah. That was a weird time where it was kind of unheard of for some kids to have video games. Like, nowadays, it's like assumed at least one house has some console somewhere.
But I was like, I want that. Because I always had to borrow the PlayStation from my friends. Mm-hmm. And you know what I was borrowing it for? To play God of War and fucking Resident Evil.
Nice.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I'm still I'm still that guy. I'm now an adult and I go, here's the rules.
It's like, now I get to decide.
And where was I going with this?
I don't remember.
Oh. At some point, I had also already owned a GameCube. Mm-hmm. And I had... my friend from high school had an Xbox 360.
Okay. So you had dabbled with a little bit
All
of everything.
three.
Yeah.
Right? And it was annoying because it was like, I have to unplug this PlayStation, but I can't use the power cord. Not the power cord, but the cord that... The AVI.
Because it like has a different connector in the end.
The white and the yellow.
Yep. It was always great when you got those TVs that didn't signify which color should plug into.
Oh, do you remember the blue?
Yeah, and it was like, what is this one for?
And then I remember seeing a green, and I was like, what happened to the blue?
That was back when there were some TVs that didn't even have those ports.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes.
That's what I played my N64 on way back when.
My little 12-inch tube had them, but that plug-in that allows you to have audio visual, right? Now we would just use HDMI.
Yeah.
Which has just gone vastly superior. Before the HDMI, they tried to push something called the S-Video.
I do remember that, actually.
Which is a lot like your cable.
Yeah.
It has that weird needle in it, and then you have to screw it.
Yeah. It's all hell.
And the HDMI is far superior. I remember the first time I got an HDMI because I was like, why does my PlayStation look like shit? And then I was like, oh, because I now have a flat screen TV, and I don't need to be using this, and I can get the full graphics.
Yeah, back in the day, everything. It was like not only just different video game consoles, but your DVD players or your record players or whatever. I don't know what else there was. Like anything that hooked up to the TV had its own special little fancy dancy snowflake ass fucking like gotta be different than everybody else cord that went along with it.
So to make a long story short, even though I made it a long story, I went to Amazon and I found this 3-way connector.
Yeah.
Where you plug in the AVI, right? And you have 3 different...
Yeah. One says Nintendo, one says Sony, and one says Microsoft. Yeah.
And I was able to switch them or have 2 plugged in at the same time. I didn't have shelf room. Remember,
which is another thing.
My stand for it was actually a nightstand that didn't have a drawer.
Oh, nice. Classy.
Do you know how many hours I put in with my friend playing on his Xbox 360 to do Left 4 Dead 2?
How many hours?
Oh my god, we used to just pass out.
Wasn't that
It would be like a school night, and it would be like 1 a.m, and we're like...
Ah.
Yeah.
There was one time...
That was me sleeping.
That was one time where there was this kid on the bus, and we were talking at some point in time, because we lived out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. It was just like 3 of us left. Me, my sister, this kid, and some other girl. And we were just talking, and he's like, yeah, I got all these old N64 games I just don't want. And I'm like, we were like, we'll take it. It's like $15, and I'll give you all my old N64 games. And we're like, fucking dunzo. So the next day, we got the $15, and he has this literal crate, like an Apple crate, and it is full of N64 games. It was at least 20 games, and most of them was garbage. But there was he had Pokemon Stadium 2 in that lineup. Yeah.
With the gold front and the silver back.
Yeah. And like there was a couple of like really good classics. It's like this alone was worth the $15.
This is how old this story is, and this will be the last story of this podcast.
Yeah, because it's gone on for way too long.
There wasn't enough information. We just need to drag it out because we miss you guys, and we're happy that you're here.
Yeah.
And I know you guys enjoy this. I enjoy doing this. Do you?
I love doing this.
Anyways, my childhood best friend Ryan and I love Pokemon.
Yes.
We love Nintendo.
Yes.
He got me into Sony, which now, again, nothing has ever really changed.
No.
I just play those 2. And we go out, and I end up finding a copy of Mario Kart 64. I've never played it before, but I knew it was cool.
Yeah.
So I got it. I got the cartridge and everything. Paid $20 for it. In cash.
Nice.
That's how we used to do it.
Where'd you find it? Like at a...
I had to find some kid in class who didn't want it anymore.
Yeah,
he just wanted the money.
That was a big way to do it.
You would trade games or money. for games,
There's
right?
Yep.
We played Mario Kart. Mario Kart 64 sucks, okay?
Compared,
the maps
yeah.
have been redone, like the new one, 8, which has been way overdone, but the new maps,
one, yeah.
the new maps, the Donkey Kong one, they fixed it up where it actually functions.
Yes.
Do you remember Yoshi's Island?
Yoshi's Circuit? Yeah.
Yeah, God.
Yoshi's Island, also that game, also phenomenal.
No, Yoshi's Story, bro.
Yoshi's Story. Oh my god.
Anyways, we play it. We like it. It's not that great. Pokemon Stadium 2.
Fuck yes.
We go into a Game Crazy. Not a GameStop. Something that used to be a competitor.
Game Crazy.
Which is attached to a Hollywood Video. If you don't know, Hollywood Video was a direct competitor to Blockbuster.
I like...
Hollywood Video went out of business long before
Oh god, yeah.
Blockbuster. Blockbuster fucked it up and Netflix dominated them.
I liked the one I had near my place was Game Shop. Not GameStop.
With an E.
Game Shop.
And
same font though.
and we see it. Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yeah, it's so tantalizing.
Ho-Oh and Lugia. His was always Lugia. Mine has always been Ho-Oh.
Ho-Oh's way better.
And we need that. Yeah. So we scrambled our allowances together. It's not enough.
What do you do? How'd you get it? You steal it?
I grab Mario Kart 64.
You traded?
And I go, can we trade this plus our money for that game? And the guy goes, yeah. Which is a killer deal for them.
Yeah, they bank off you.
But for us to get to play Pokemon Stadium 2, game changer.
It's so good. The mini games was great. There was a battle mode, gyms, Elite Four.
We didn't have to be on our Game Boys anymore, sitting in the soccer field playing it anymore.
And now
we could just sit down at home and have our battles.
And you could pick any Pokemon, kind of. Like you couldn't pick
the legendaries
Celebi.
and mythicals were missing.
But you could pick any Pokemon. Like, oh, you've never had a Ninetales on your team?
Also, you could carry them over from your actual cartridge because we had those adapters.
Yeah.
Yes, there was an adapter. If you look at the Nintendo 64 fucking...
That alien-shaped blob on the back of it?
Yes, you can actually shove shit in there. There was a
rumble pack?
A rumble pack, which allowed it to vibrate, which is so silly now.
Yes, an expansion pack that certain game, like Donkey Kong 64.
Which allowed you to give memory. It was a memory stick.
Yeah, which you couldn't play Donkey Kong 64 without that.
Yep. And then there was the Game Boy extension, where you could plug in this... God, it was shaped...
It was always shaped so stupidly.
Shaped like an L, but your fingers would fit underneath it so you could still hold the controller, and you would plug in your Game Boy cartridge.
Yep.
Which would be red, blue, green...
Yellow, gold,
and
silver.
Gold, and...
Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made a lot.
They did.
But that was it. I mean, they never made a Pokemon Stadium after that.
They had Coliseum, and they had like another one, the one where you like steal Pokemon or whatever.
That is Coliseum.
Yeah, like that was the closest spiritual successor they had.
But that's a totally different console.
It is, and they never really, and I never understood why they never went back to, because Stadium also had great animations for the Pokemon. Like, each move they had was, like, unique.
Do you remember this soundbite? Oh! Thunder!
Yeah.
And you knew it was critical every time. It was just like, the narrator was like, you hit him!
The narrator was great in those games.
Yeah. And the battle rages on.
What happens next, trainer?
Yeah. Great
Waiting
games.
for a move from the trainer. It's like, shut up, I'm eating.
the menu was so hard to navigate.
It was.
Even now, I'd be like, why do I have to...
The D-pad did nothing. Or something.
No, the D-pad did nothing. You had to use the C-pad.
Yeah.
So stupid.
But it was great. And the animations. It's the coming out of the Pokeball animations and the fainting animations that were always so 10 out of 10. Like, every Pokemon had such crazy, creative things. Like, I remember Jinx, when Jinx fainted, she would look...
We don't talk about that Pokemon.
She would look surprised, and then her entire body would disappear into her hair. Yep, and the hair would just fall. And just, it was so cool.
Well, that was coffee break.
Yeah. Thanks.
If you stayed through the whole thing, thank you.
It was a heftier one than expected.
Oh my god, I almost hit 2 hours.
Yep. Remember when we started this and we were like, nothing happened this week. Anyway, let's talk for 2 hours.
Well, we made it a traditional podcast. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, even if you didn't.